Welcome to the Good Rookie Show. My name's Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all. And we are Good
That's
Rookie.
right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's the Good Rookie Show.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? We're your hosts coming to you from Toronto, Canada, the sixth, okay? And we bring you the hottest topics in sports and culture. So, Fahim, I saw this funny clip on Instagram. Mike Myers, for those who don't know, he's from Scarborough, he's a Toronto man. And Speaker's Corner, Fahim, that was used to be like after a show, you have a Speaker's Corners clip, and people will be talking randomly, right? So he was in
Mhm.
there saying, "Hi, I'm Mike. I'm from Agent Court area in Scarborough," and I was like, "Yo." Speaker's Corner was a thing. So I saw someone comment. I forgot who the comment's from, but they're like, this is the original Vine and TikTok. Like, that
Yep.
live, like it's a live video or a live like
Hmm.
reality clip. And I'm like, yo, Speaker's
Hmm.
Corner was a vibe. Do you
Hmm.
think they should bring that back, Fahim, in some capacity?
100%. For anyone who's maybe not from the area and not doesn't know, it was There's Much Music, which is I guess Canada's music. It's equivalent to I guess in Times Square in the States. I think it was MTV would
MTV
have been.
or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
right.
something like that.
And they had a corner, and at the corner they had a little booth, and the booth would sit maybe two people, three if you want to squeeze up, four sometimes packed into a small little booth in a corner, and you paid at the time it would have been I don't know maybe a few quarters or something, and they
Mm-hmm.
gave you amount of time, and you had time. And what they did since it was at the music, Much Music, is they would run the recordings of what random people said on the corner, and they would air it on television.
Mm-hmm.
So, to Nelly J's point in regards to Mike Myers, I'm assuming this was before the fame when he said,
Oh yeah,
"Hey, I'm Mike."
before the fame.
Right. So that would be actually kind of cool seeing just him being downtown. I can imagine, and saying,
With
"Hey,
his
you know what?
friends.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah." So, yeah. Do I think they should bring that back for sure? I do think the city, especially Toronto, has, uh, and actually Canada, period, because people from all over come to Toronto. So, you never know who could be popping in. And I think having speakers corner or something like that gives a voice to the people. And I think now, like you mentioned about that was the original Vine, I think now the people have social media, so they actually go
Exactly.
directly to it.
To their
But I
page.
but I do think it would be cool to if you were to have something like that, Speaker's Corner there, where people would actually incorporate maybe their social media into that. So it could be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And good point. Good point.
Yeah. I really love very nostalgic, for
Hmm.
sure. Um, okay, so quick question for him, because
Yeah.
trick question before we go to the main topic. So
Hmm.
I saw something really interesting. So they're talking about valuation of teams, right? In 2024.
Okay.
So there's a team, right? And this is most valuable sports teams in the world. So based on 2024 evaluation for him this year, we all know the most valued team in the world is the Cowboys, right? I'm not
Right.
gonna, that's easy. But
Hmm.
Fahim, guess who the number two team is
Yeah.
in terms of valuation?
I would just take a quick guess and say it's a football soccer team. Um, I don't know. It's obviously not going to be a usual suspect, but I'll go with I don't know, Real Madrid.
Yeah, so no, actually. Shocking.
Yeah.
So apparently there has been, I mean, and I think maybe the sale of Charlotte Hornets and Dallas, remember Mark Cuban sold not all his shares, but a lot to not be the majority stakeholder.
Hmm.
Even Michael Jordan, people think he sold all his shares for him. No, he sold some of his shares to not be a majority anymore, but he's
Oh, okay.
still a part owner. Yeah, like Mark Cuban, they sold shares to make more money. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
based on those sales and the valuation for him, number two value team in the world, Warriors at
Wow.
8.2 billion. By the
Golden
way,
State
Cowboys is
Warriors.
9.2 billion. Number three, valuation. Okay, this is just valuation. So if they were to sell the team now, Is this how much it would cost? 7.4 billion to the Knicks, number 3. And number 4, 7.3 billion, so only 0.1 difference, Lakers. And number 5, Yankees, 7.1 billion. I thought that was quite interesting because we had, I think, a couple more NFL teams up top 5 for most valuable. But
Hmm.
again, this is via Sportica. So Sportica did valuation on teams, and they found that these were the top 5 most valuable sports teams in the world.
Mm.
Any thoughts, Faheem?
Wow. Um, all the names that you mentioned, none of them surprised me, other than maybe Golden State, maybe so high. I'm just trying to think with Golden State, they're at the end of a dynasty run, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's really sustainable after maybe some losing seasons, if they would fall out. But for right now, just the fact that they're still in it and they haven't won it, well, they won a championship 2 years ago, right? So they're
Mm-hmm.
still, I guess, fresh off championship high. That would be the biggest surprise, I think. Golden State is number 2 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that actually speaks to the power of Steph Curry, and
Mm-hmm.
what Steph Curry brings to the franchise, right? That's
Absolutely.
maybe something that we should actually add to his legacy, uh, outside the shooting, just in regards to like he's literally resurrected a
Yeah.
a franchise.
Yep.
Yeah.
We call it Wembyonics for the economics of Wemby.
Mhm.
Steph Curry got to be a Curryonics.
Sure. Yeah.
Something I don't know, but he definitely made that franchise,
Hmm.
become. I mean, and Fahim, I remember y'all, we've been podcasting for years, but I remember one of our top, whatever older episodes, we spoke about Knicks being the most valuable franchise in the NBA, and
Hmm.
the Warriors I think were like top 5 or top 6. They've jumped to 1 in
Oh,
like 7, 8 years, 10 years. That is
wow.
crazy. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
gotta respect what they've built there
Hmm.
nonetheless. Yeah.
Also, I just wonder how them moving from Oakland to San Francisco, if that's
Mm.
actually affected their valuation also. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I wonder because I'm not sure if like where they are now, if they own it or if the city owns it. So that's a
Mhm.
question. You know what I mean? Number one, number two, I think the city owns it, but yeah, I'm not. I don't think that could change because I think team value is just the team valuation. But yeah, I'm sure real estate or location does factor in something to your
I would
point,
think so.
right? So.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
I'm just not sure like how much it factors because the
Hmm.
Knicks plays in Madison Square. They're huge, right? Lakers
Right.
plays in crypto, new name but same place.
Same place,
But
right?
yeah, I wonder.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. All right. So, interesting. This All-Star weekend, a lot of things have happened. One of the things that I think caught me was the new court that they kind of slipped it in, that it's happened. We kind of seen it happen. The LED courts.
Hmm.
How cool is that? Um, it's one of those things where as I was watching it, so for anyone who maybe you would, if you watched NBA All Star Weekend, you'd know the courts were actually, uh, how to describe this, Nelly J? Where they
It's
had
it's
the
like it's like
images,
a it's like similar to any kind of a monitor. Imagine all your
right?
monitors
That's
on the
yes.
floor.
There
It's
you
like,
go.
instead of having boards, it's like a computer monitor on the floor with
Right,
a tougher case,
right,
essentially.
perfect, great.
Hmm.
So and the reason why I think this is good, it's a pretty interesting topic, is the LED lights. Uh, so with other sports, they're always looking for new ways to innovate. Like for baseball, when you watch baseball games, the strike zone, when it's out, they have images. In hockey, they tried with the puck following, but as technology is going farther on, they're just using a lot more, making it more visual, the sport. I just can't believe that here we are in 2024 and we're just now being introduced to, um, images on the court.
Hmm.
So I just want to get your thoughts in regards to what you saw with the images during All-Star weekend and where you think these images are going to go in the future.
Yeah, so couple things, right? Just
Hmm.
looking at the price range of these. Um, the NBA does not run or control arenas. Okay.
Mhm.
So essentially, I think because the Indianapolis they installed it, they probably did it for free. I'm wondering if they probably the first time, right? Remember, like I'm thinking if I'm the company who installed it, I probably would give them a really good discount because I want to promote my technology, right? Um, and stuff like that. Looking at the cost of this, I'm looking at the cost of or price range of installing, um, just installing LED
Mhm.
lights for
So
him
why you
can
look?
cost 22 to like 200K. Installing, that's just lights up top. The court, we can all guess is
Mhm.
probably quite a bit of money.
But
So
keep.
I do think it looked really cute. It was nice for like I think it was good for like 3-point contests, whatever, for basketball games. I don't think it's worth it because if you watch the NFL Fahim Super Bowl, you saw that when a team would score a touchdown, they had a digital, like actual, they would edit the visual effect on
On top,
of that on the screen,
right?
which is much cheaper than
Hmm.
having to install an LED flooring on a basketball court. So if I'm looking to put more effects and stuff like that in the game, right? I can probably do that in a digital sense where I can digitally enhance those types of dunks or whatever digitally through the actual screen instead of me having to install brand new flooring. Um, I think it's nice. I just don't think it's something I think it would be good for like maybe if there's a new type of like for that like for example, right? If you're doing a tournament in one location and everyone's playing there, that makes sense. But I just
Hmm.
think that for them to like try this in every arena, these arenas aren't owned by the NBA.
Right.
So and the NBA has no right to tell an arena what to put in the court. They have their regulation and guidelines of what you have to have. But outside of that, the arena can do what they want. Because again, the
Right.
teams do not own. So to me, I think the NBA, the All-Star weekend, that was their weekend, it was their event. I think it's good for their event for that weekend. But I think in terms of expanding, I don't think it'll ever be every NBA team will have it, but I do think it will be something. Because again, Fahim,
Yeah.
if you look at like some arenas are so old, some are new, some are like, you know what I'm saying? So
No.
I just think
So,
I think for an event, beautiful. I think it's nice. I think it's cool. But some of the players you could tell didn't adjust well. Like, I don't know if you watch a skill contest where like Scotty and a few, I think Victor, they didn't follow the arrow. So they went the wrong
mhm.
way. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so not everyone is like used to that, but I think it's great for an event. But then the ROI to me is that you have to like I look at the ROI, the bottom line of it, right? But I do think it's really cool. But I think if you want effects at a game or effects, you can actually put that digitally. But I think for fan experience, I don't like because I wasn't at the game, Fahim. I don't know what it would look like for a fan being there. Is it distracting? Is it too bright? At home, I'm okay with it because I can see like more of a different view. But I'm wondering at the game, I wonder for those people, like what they thought about it.
Mhm. So you were mentioning about the league doesn't own the arenas, which I agree. You also mentioned about um, it being like something that if the league, well, I see how the in-season tournament, that would, I think, be a great opportunity for them to use the LED lights again
But
because they had the
but
in-season tournament in Go ahead.
yeah, but so you're saying it they'll have to get approval from the VIG wherever they have the tournament. So what the last two games? Because remember, the incident tournament happens across the league, right? And
Mhm.
all they do for him is change the painting on the court. That's
Right.
way cheaper than installing LED lights on the floor just
Right.
for two
Right.
months.
Right.
Like again, the work to do it and every 30 team is just not worth it.
So with this in-season tournament, they're in Vegas for the last two games. So I think the floor would be a great idea in Vegas for the
It
finals.
but the NBA can't like they'll like the Vegas they will have to pay for it.
Okay, do you think? But I don't think the NBA has a problem with
Well,
with.
again, I don't know. Remember, like I don't think you were in the room, but the amount of money they bring in for All-Star Weekend is more money than what they bring in for in-season tournament in terms of sponsorships and branding. So having that for a full weekend, like Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, is different than having like 2 games and then a finals.
Mm-hmm.
So again, right? And you have to so it also depends on if if that arena in Vegas, if it's being used for other events like hockey, right? Like during that time, because I think they shared that. I think that's where the hockey team plays, right? The Golden Knights. They play in the
Oh
same
yeah,
arena as the basketball team.
I don't know if they had the
I
same.
believe so. Yeah, it's only one. Yeah, they have. Yeah, I believe so. I believe the NBA team and the hockey team plays in the same place. So it
Okay.
just depends, right? Because we know Faheem, like being in Toronto, the Leafs play in the same arena as Raptors. So you know, again. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that like during the All-Star game, I didn't see any LED lights during the game. If you watched it, like there was no LED. I only saw the LED lights on the Friday and Saturday events. The Sunday, they just showed the regular court.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
I think the LED lights was more for like the 3-point dunk contest, whatever. But I didn't see any LED lights activated for the basketball game.
mm-hmm.
Even during the dunks, like when Dame was taking his logo shots, the logos didn't light up or didn't
Mm-hmm.
change or nothing. It just was the same court.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I think those were only for the event, the events. But during the games, I don't remember seeing a dunk and then seeing lights flashing on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't remember seeing any of that. Do you remember seeing that during the games? Because I felt
Yeah.
like it was mostly before the games and
Mm-hmm.
after. Or like, for the intros, I saw the lights going up and down for the
Mm-hmm.
performances, right? But I didn't see the court changing or anything in that impact during the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be wrong. I'm wondering if you saw anything, but I don't remember seeing anything. So,
One sec.
yeah.
So LED. While I'm doing this here, we all know what LED lights are, but the definition, light emitting diode. Okay. 90% of it produces up to 90% more efficient light than regular light bulbs. And there's some things here about I was reading about LED that I was like, yo, that's cool. That LED, they could find a way to like advertise while the game's going on. I think. I just think I was just impressed with the fact that that we're here now doing this with the
Yeah.
LEDs.
No, for even but that's the thing, right? Like the floors was not moving during the game. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the floors, but maybe like because again, it's basketball, and if anything distracts the player, like if I'm dribbling and then a light flashes for advertisement, that's taken away from the athlete. That's why I feel like it's only
Right.
good for before and after. Is it worth it? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I don't know. Like
Right.
it's good for events. It's good for concert. I think it's good for like if I'm putting on a for him, right? If I'm doing a conference, especially the conferences with like an actual show, all right, and I'm doing that's cool. You go to a conference, the floors that have all the lights, like that's what I'm thinking it more for like corporate events, conferences, maybe like animation type event. Like, but during a basketball game or a sporting event during the game, it's distracting. No athlete wants to see something flashing below them while you're hitting a table tennis. You know what I'm saying? But I think
Mm-hmm.
for like maybe a recreational space, for sure. Maybe like if you're going to watch or I don't know, going to like some type of concert, whatever, and I'm an artist, because for me, Fahim, I feel like I've seen these before, like at concerts. Like if you ever go to any concert, you see like the floor moving with images. So I feel like we've seen this in concert settings, but never in like actual sports setting. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was groundbreaking to have it in the sport. But I've seen LED floors or like LED type like screens in like concerts, right?
Mhm.
It's been around for a while. Now it's trying to apply to sport. I think that's pretty cool, but I think it'll be tough to use it for like an actual in-game activity. I think for athletes, there's just too much stimuli. And during the game, they didn't even use it. So I think
Right.
for like specific events, for sure, I think concerts, tours, conferences, I think it's great idea, for the money. But for during a basketball game, nah, that's
What
just too much.
about during an
Or
option? See, remember KD when he was like just a hair over the 3-point line? Like, say they had it where like,
like a
uh,
sensor, like
yeah,
sensors,
yeah, like
that's a lot of money.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of money, and
Yeah.
then that's a way more. Again, the ROI is not there. Now,
Mm.
now, if the technology is out there and the price comes down, I'm sure they'll get something like that eventually. But it's just the ROI, right? I think it's probably cheaper to get paint sensitive type technology where if you step on the paint, it triggers something. That's cheaper than actually having a whole port in that. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
there's ways to do what you want, but much cheaper.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, so instead of you having put like an actual tape that goes on the line, so if someone steps on it, like it's the trick, it senses that some kind of sensor or trigger, and oh, he stepped on the line without you having to check.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I
like,
like that.
there's ways to do that. I just don't think it's gonna be LED flooring. I think that's All-Star Weekend, great. Concerts, tours, great.
Mhm. Facts. All right. Nelly J, so why don't we go to for the culture?
For the culture, we got to highlight individuals for the culture, y'all. And today we get to highlight someone, if you're a Toronto fan, you're definitely a fan of this young man. Okay. He's not young anymore, but he's still kind of young to Faheem and I. Demar Derozan. So, y'all, first of all, Demar Derozan is 34 years young. Okay. Basketball star, multiple All NBAs, multiple All Star. He's a USC, okay, alum, and he launched for him this past week. So last week, he launched his new series, okay, that is called Dinners with Demar, where he gets to talk about and tackle the stigma of mental health and how to manage it, how to work with it, how to live with it, right? Um, I really love this idea for him because I think like DeMar DeRozan is someone, and even he said it himself, people think, oh, I'm DeMar DeRozan, like I have it all together. I'm a millionaire, I'm a star. Like, how can you not be happy? You know what I'm saying for him? Like, oh, you don't have some fact like, oh my gosh, they're stars. How are they not happy? Well, they're happy, but just like all of us, Fahim, we're human. And as a human, we deal with different challenges and pressures put on ourselves, put on by others or society. So I really love that he is launching this series. It's on his actual YouTube. So Demar Derozan, YouTube channel. You can watch it now. Fahim, his first episode is with Draymond Green. And I've been very vocal on my Twitter. Sorry, X. You guys call it X now. I still call it Twitter, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I call it Twitter. But on X about like clearly he's dealing with something, right? This is not normal for him to see someone behave the way Draymond has the past year, punching players, fighting players on the court, punching teammates, like just really sporadic behavior. I haven't watched the episode yet, but that's pretty dope that he is talking to Draymond. I'm hoping they're breaking bread and sharing stories, but I really think for him, the conversation around mental health, especially around our Black kings, I think it's something that we should not only admire and respect, but promote. Okay. We talk about, especially in Toronto, I've spoken to my brothers and friends who talk about, there's really any safe spaces for Black men to speak, right? To share, to be vulnerable about challenges, about their good or bad days, right? Now, some men have their groups, but sometimes they don't share those things. So I'm hoping that this type of series that will only stimulate, but promote more men to speak about their mental health and their challenges. And who knows, maybe that will make them become stronger as a unit, right? So, Fahim, that's why Demar Derozan is for the culture, aka Debo. Even his teammates for him, Chicago Bulls, Vooch, they're all supporting him, his family. I really, really admire this. So, guys, please check out his series. Let's support it, right? Dinners with Demar. It premiered. Mental health. I think he's been a leader in this space already, and I'm excited. I'm excited. Um, so Fahim, any thoughts on DeMar DeRozan's new web series?
Oh, it's really good. He's always been pretty vocal about what he's been dealing with, kind of being, I guess, a leader in that aspect, especially in the NBA in particular. Is I do find it interesting that he did have Draymond as his first guest. I haven't seen the episode. I do plan on watching it though. I'm just wondering, um, if that's going to be the theme of people who maybe dealing with mental health issues, if that, or if it's like, see, that's the thing, because I haven't seen it, I can just speculate. Demar, he's been vocal about it. Draymond, for instance, his first guest hasn't been open about something like that. So I don't know if it was his guests are there for him, or he is there for his guests, or they are there for each other, you know. But I do think that you're right. That's a conversation that has to be had. And it is nice that they're having, some produced content around it. Um, yeah, I'd just be interested to watch it and see. But shout out to DeMar DeRozan for what he's doing in the realm of mental health.
Big up Demar. I
Hmm.
agree. We have to
Hmm.
watch it, support it. It's important. And I want to see more of my brothers out there speaking on it and not feeling ashamed.
Hmm.
Not feeling ashamed. It's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm having anxiety about this, interview. Oh man, I'm really nervous about, my kids, blah, blah, blah. Or, man, I had a really rough day at work. I'm really concerned. Like, I really think it's okay to not always be perfect. And yeah, everything's great. Social media can make you think, Fahim, everyone's living a lovely, happy, perfect life. And we've all realized that the happiest people sometimes are not happy. We've lost a lot of loved ones, or I've seen lots of loved ones, people that we've known who were like comedians commit suicide, or famous musicians. Like it happens because sometimes we're not, like, we're free to come out and speak on those bad days, right? Um, and it's okay because we feel ashamed. We feel like we failed. We feel like, so I'm really hoping that this is just another way for kids coming up, athletes coming up. Athletes are, they're gladiators. They're the modern day gladiators, right? That they're tough. They can't show any weakness for him. And I just hope that we can say that there is strength in showing weakness, and that is strength. So, anyways, big up to Debo, big up Demar. This is great, great, great series. He actually launched it for him at USC too. At USC, he actually had a launch there where he where he
Nice,
played. So I love
nice.
that too. Like, he's very intentional, Demar. Everything does is very intentional. But yeah, big up, big up, big up. I really hope the series goes well. I really do.
Mhm. I also love the fact that athletes, especially in the podcast and media space, that's where a lot of former, present and former
Mm-hmm.
players are actually going to. No one's going in it. They all seem to be the same kind of formula. Either
Yes.
you have
About
past,
themselves, about their
yeah,
stories.
about
Yeah.
themselves or about previous stories. Very few are actually dealing with topics of the now
Mm-hmm.
in regards to making people better. Like, so I mean, for Demar to actually have something that's, like you mentioned, intentional about mental health that can actually help people while he's an active player, that goes so against the grain of what's happening. So I mean, I like the fact that He's using his opportunity because, let's be real, Demar could have got a podcast and just off of who he is,
Of
he could have got a
course.
podcast and done whatever he wanted to do, right? But so I think it's great that he's using his platform to actually help people. So yeah, shout out to Demar. It's great.
Facts,
Mhm.
facts. Big up. That's why
Big up.
DeMar DeRozan is for the culture.
Yeah. All right. Nelly J, why don't we close this out with our last segment? That's absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, what was absurd this week? What was absurd? Ah.
Wow. Former NBA player Boris Diaw. He was on a podcast, and on the podcast, he revealed, and I'm going to quote him. This is crazy. This is quote. I don't think I ever scored a bucket with my left hand. End quote. Absurd.
Absurd.
So just for context, here's what happened. He's on the pod, and he's saying that his old coach used to have a ongoing stat that they used to run of people who scored with their opposite hand.
Mm-hmm.
And every game he'd be at zero because they actually documented this. This is someone who
Yes,
was
he did
actually
say that.
watching
Yeah,
for it.
zero. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just find it so interesting that he's played over 10 years in the NBA. And he said he thinks he might have only had one left hand uh, shot, but it was actually a tip in. So he says he doesn't even count it because he tipped the ball in with his left hand. And he
Wow.
says every move he's made in the NBA going left, he's never finished with his left hand. He's always found a way to make it to his right hand.
That's true. Because the one under the rim, he kind of flicked it with his
Yeah,
right
so
hand.
so they showed a bunch of clips of him going left,
Yeah.
and it looks like he's going left, but then he finds a way just
Way
to
to go
get it
to the
to his
right.
right.
That's true.
So I'm just wondering for the amount he scored a lot of buckets in the NBA, and to think that he's never scored one with his left hand is just absolutely absurd, and definitely not something that you want kids to hear about. That's the fundamentals. Kids got to know about using their left hand, going on the left hand side. Um, yeah, I just think it's absurd that he's never scored with his left. What? Ever?
Yeah, his entire career. I find that so hard to believe, though. I'm like, how'd that even possible?
Yeah.
So I'm looking
How?
now. He averaged 8 points his career,
Uh-huh.
career wise. His
There must
most
have been
points.
a season where if you have his splits there, I'm
Yeah, I'm
guessing
gonna say
he's
right
okay.
now,
Hold on, let me guess. I think he's his in his best year, he maybe his average. He's got to be a 15 point a night game. I'll go with 15 points a night.
only one time in his career he did that.
Okay, and what that was his best was a 15.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
But
15.
others is he's only had one, two, three, four, five double digit points
Okay,
in season average. He's
still
not really you know what I'm saying? And then after that, like
no, but
six,
think about that.
seven, four,
But think
five,
about even
nine,
in
eight, six,
think about
four.
even in one season, if you someone who's averaging 15 points a night, even in one season, imagine all the buckets that they've scored in that even that one
So I have
season.
the total points. The most
Okay,
points he
good.
scored in a single season was 1,072.
Okay, so he's got a
And
thousand
he's
points.
only
So
scored over 1,000 points twice in his career.
okay,
So
so he scored 1,000 points and none of them with his left hand, and then
impressive.
wow, wow,
Yeah.
that's just mind blowing, and it's great that
Wow.
he's admitted it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So
and he barely took any threes too. So he
yeah,
was
which
he wasn't taking threes like that. Especially back in those days, they weren't taking threes like that.
right.
He retired in what his last season was 2017.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, but he did play, yeah, at 34 and he averaged 4.6
Hmm.
in Utah. So
Wow. And he played many
yeah.
years for Popovich too. Actually won a championship under Popovich. And yeah, Pop, he's old school. You figured
Mm-hmm.
Popovich being like someone of he played with Tim Duncan. They call him big fundamentals. You know, how you play with big fundamentals and you throw fundamentals out the window and never score with your left hand going left side. That's just
Hey, at least he was efficient, I guess.
yeah. 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 Anyways, I thought that was just completely absurd.
Absurd.
Absurd. All right, Nelly J. Let's put this episode in the books.
All right, y'all. That was the Good Rookie Show.
Mhm.
So as y'all know, we do our shout outs. Mine is really quick. I'm shouting out South Carolina women's college basketball team. Another season of being undefeated. 2 years in a row in the regular season. No team has beaten this team. And this is a young team. Like, they lost like 8 people last year to WNBA and professional. A lot of younger players stepping up. Just
That's Dawn
making it
Staley's
done.
team?
Dawn Staley. Yes,
Okay.
Dawn Staley. And one thing I'm going to say with Dawn Staley, my second shout out was to her because she got to 600 career wins. Big number. Since 2000. So it's at Temple she started. She's at 600 wins. Big up to Dawn Staley. Big up to South Carolina. Man, really, really impressive. Really impressive. So yeah, that's my shout out. What you got? What you got for me?
Nice. I'm going to go with 47.5% of the 123 million people who watched the Super Bowl were women.
Ooh, almost 50%.
million,
Look at that.
Almost 50% of people who actually watched the Super Bowl were women.
Wow.
Stand up, stand up.
Stand up. Telling you. The tides are changing. All the tides are changing. Love to see it. Love it.
All right, now Jay, let's put this episode in the books.
All right, y'all. That was the Good Rookie Show.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a good time and enjoyed yourself, please like and subscribe. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Faheem.
We're on all platforms if you're looking for us. You know what it is. It's a Good Rookie Show. There we are.
Hey.